Hello. Um, 2 copies of White Tide and Green Grass Stones next year. That's their first greatest hits album that was ever put out. And next year, I do believe, and these are both Australian originals. One's mono, one's stereo. They're 60 years old. Next year, it's just 1 year short of 60, 6 decades. I was 15 when this was released, and I'll be 75 if I'm still alive next year. So I've owned not both of them. The mono's my original. So I've had that for the mono. I've had for 60 years next year. Fuck. And yet every time I look at something like this, it just takes me straight back to the good old days. Like before everything went down the drain. Before psychedelica and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the Stones probably were much better, much more psychedelic than the bloody Beatles. Anyway, let's not get into that subject, shall we? I just made a previous video a minute ago, and I'm very OCD today. I get an idea in my head, I wake up, and I got to do it. I was too OCD. I was all over the place. So I'll try and make this one a bit more, I don't know, cohesive somehow. Okay, I've got to show you the wonderful. Now, Decca usually reserved the black label for their classical stuff. And in Australia, I think it was only in Australia, this album was released on the black Decca, and so was Satanic Majesties, which would have been the next album after this, Greatest Hits. And I don't know why. I just love it. I just think it looks so tough. Gorgeous condition. Well, it's been played a lot, but the mono is kicks butt. It's much better than the stereo. I think the stereos are true stereo tracks. I don't think there's any electronic, because the first Stones album was only made in mono, so it's quite possible that yeah, it is possible. Tracks like Come On and Not Fade Away on the mono, yeah, if yeah, the stereo, they'd have to be reprocessed, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't like that reprocessed bullshit. So that was the mono, which is the clean label. Now this is the stereo. This was such a buzz when you can imagine being a teenager, 15 years old, working your ass off, saving up and buying this, and just going, wow, I mean, this was extraordinary. It was unheard of. Even Frank Sinatra didn't get this treatment, or Elvis. Yeah, there it is. This is, oh man, the condition. I'm constantly amazed. I thought this was pretty beat up. It's not beat up at all. God, there's no spindle marks. It smells great. This one I re-virginized, and it looks. And I re-virginized this 15 years ago, and it looks brand new, and it smells. That re-virginizer is a great product, and so that glue that dries and you peel it off, and it smells fresh. Look at that shiny ass, mate. But that's the I think that's what they call the narrow band. full frequency stereophonic sound label. Or maybe that's, I don't know what the wideband is, but I better put this back for a record. I had no idea it was in that condition. Because I always play the mono. Not that I play any record very often, but this one I'm just astounded. Glad I opened it up. Okay. So, yeah, now the UK and the US have completely different versions. I made a previous video, but I waffled too long. They pretty much have mostly the same tracks, but on the US one they included Good Times, Bad Times, which is just a throwaway track on 12x5, which was released in the US and Australia. Why would they put that there? It's not a hit. It wasn't even a good track. It's just a rubbish throwaway track. Why would they do that? Also on the US one, they put Time Is On My Side with the guitar intro. The original, Time Is On My Side, has the organ intro by Ian Stewart, you know, the roadie piano player in the band. And he has such feeling in those few notes at the start in the organ. Just a few notes, and there's so much feeling in it. And it's great. But then they redid it with this horrible, weedy, twangy guitar intro, which is awful. I don't get it. But that's the US, so that's two points off for the US for having Good Times, Bad Times, and for having the guitar intro to Time Is On My Side. Yeah, so I think, you know, they're pretty much the ones that weren't included on the US version were here I'm starting to go waffly again. Well, Come On is the weak track on the UK and Australian version, in my opinion. It's all right, but it's the first single they put out, and it's, you know, sort of, yeah, it's all right, you know, but I can live with it. But I would have preferred I Want to Be a Man. Their version just absolutely shits on the Beatles. So, and the last video I made was way too long. I waffled far too much. So I'll show my original Australian and UK 45s from the big hits High Tide and Green Grass album. There's Little Red Rooster. Now Tell Me, I think was on the yeah. They didn't include, this isn't on the UK or Aussie, but that's on the Yank one. Tell Me. Time Is On My Side. That's the one I just mentioned about the organ intro. This is the organ intro. This is the original. And this sounds absolutely awesome. By the way, these UK and Aussie 45s sound awesome. I played a few recently and I just went, holy shit, they're alive, you know, they just boom. And Lady Jane, As Tears Go By, which is on the US. Oh no, it's on this one as well. This is a UK original. 19th Nervous Breakdown, As Tears Go By. 19th Nervous Breakdown is the first really sort of heavy track they did. And in some ways, Have You Seen Your Mother, Baby, Standing in the Shadow is like just one step up above that as well. It's a very, very tough track. Okay, Get Off of My Cloud. It's on both versions. Satisfaction, this is the Australian as well. It's on both versions of the album, UK and US. This is the awesome I Want to Be Your Man 45 UK. I got this in the late 60s, you know, but this is an original UK. and it's got a crack in it, literally a crack. I mean, it's not a scratch; it's actually cracked, and you can't really see it. It wouldn't show up, and I don't want to risk opening the crack too wide. But it plays through this crack in the record without a sound. You don't hear it at all. That's why I love these old 45s, mate. They are built like a brick shithouse, as they say in Australia. Um, yeah, what an awesome! Get the bass, Bill Wyman's bass on that, just not fade away. Original UK, damn good version of Buddy Holly song. It's actually better than the original. It's very punchy. Heart of Stone, my Aussie original, and of course the awesome, unbelievably great Have You Seen Your Mother Baby Standing in the Shadow, with a pretty crap B-side actually. Who's Driving Your Plane, just a throwaway. But um, that should have been on what do you call it, Afterbirth album or Aftermath. You know, that's we all thought that was a great album at the time, but honestly, in my old age, I just go, that's pile of shit. Yes, every song was written by Jagger and Richards, but there's only 5 good ones on there. All the rest of it's just second-rate rubbish. This should have been on that album. Anyway, this is a killer. I've got about 3 Aussie copies and maybe 1 or 2 UK copies of this. I just love that single, man. The poor old Yanks missed out. They put their version of this out, and this was the front cover in the US early in '66, and then in the UK and Australia, it came out with this cover, and that is the backside with their latest hit. And it wasn't a hit in Australia. It only got into the lower reaches of the charts here. But because I think it's just too advanced, people couldn't get it. They go, "Whoa, what's this?" That just makes that album so great. Anyway, I'll try not to run over time, and thank you for your attention. Bye now.